Welcome everybody to the 18th, the Peyton Manning edition of the Voices of the Voiceless podcast. My arm hurts, well, so does Peyton's. And Brad Shepard, you just had to break your phone recently. Some people were sliding into those DMs.
Oh yeah, I'm a big fan of the DMs.
Well, you know who else is a big fan of the DMs? My Twitter followers, yeah, the people that put up with my pretentious drivel on the tweeter machine. God bless you, because I think that's pretty impossible. But I can hear myself now. See, that's fuck. See this shit. See what happens when I'm not prepared. God damn it. I've had a headache all day. I woke up at 10. I got up late. I had to go. I was playing some video games while trying to find news stories because we need 8 news writers for wrestling where I work. So that's bullshit. And then I couldn't write anything, so I went to the gym with a headache. And I was done with the gym. I came straight home. I did the whole NXT thing. I watched the NXT thing, and I finally got a news story, but I had to wait because I got a little busy. And now I'm here. I'm hungry.
But how many matches do you have on Plenty of Fish now? That's what the people really want to know.
You want to look right now? I can look right now. I haven't looked.
Yeah.
Wow, I haven't looked in about a month.
Yeah, we'll look right now.
Because I'm talking to a lady, Brad. I'm talking to a lady.
Oh.
I know, and I might move to North Carolina. So fuck my life. Okay, I know, right? So my matches. What? No. Okay, so I'm at the new button. My matches. Okay. Wow, I have a lot. Holy shit. What? So if there's what's ultra match mean? I don't know what that means. So 1, 2. I have 4. What's 4 divided by 1, 2? Or not 4 divided 4 times. 4 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 40 matches. It looks like.
Wow.
I know. Well, I'm trying to look at the attractiveness level because that really does matter. She's kind of.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's 40 people that desperate.
Shut up. I think I could see one. I could see one that's a potential fish, if you will. I see one. I see it. I can see the possibility. What's ultra match? I want to see what that means. Oh, so this girl from New Kensington, Pennsylvania says, kiss her forehead, grab her booty, call her mine. Okay. Another one from Burrell, Pennsylvania. Say yes and you'll figure it out afterwards. That's, I think, yeah.
One night stand alert.
Well, I think a guy from Subway told her that. You like that? Yep, that was a Fogel joke. Get used to it. Number 13, don't message me if you're looking for a hookup. Okay, well, I'll pass right along.
Next.
From Butler, she's a smiley face. She's a hard worker, but really laid back and open to everything. I'm independent. She can't spell. Moving on. What's happening? From Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I am a girl. You're an idiot. All right, let's move on. They don't teach grammar in Pittsburgh, apparently. I'm one of the only ones. Don't waste my time. Okay, thanks. From Elwood City, Pennsylvania. Hi, I'm Tara. I'm 21. I like to have a good time and up for anything in life. I have a big heart for people and animals. I currently work in a bakery. That explains something. Then we'll be starting school in spring for a phlebotomy. We could do a podcast on me just looking over these. One more? Want to do one more?
Well, yeah, we'll do one more.
All right, let's do one. I'm going to find a good one. Need someone to hold me down.
Rape Fantasy.
From West Alexander, Pennsylvania. I'm very outgoing and I have an open mind. I'm a very sweet and caring person. I work hard. I'm very honest and blunt. There's only one period mark in that whole. Wow, that's a lot of run-ons. I can't stand a liar or a cheater. No period. I don't play head games, and I don't deal with draw. Good one to end on, everybody.
She doesn't play head games.
No, she's not the right girl for you. So find out next week what other matches I have. That could be a recurring segment on the show.
It could be. You should get Tinder.
I have Tindered before.
When in doubt, swipe right. That's what I've been told.
Well, here's the thing. What you got to do is you got to just like look away from your phone and just swipe right to everybody. And eventually you might get lucky, and eventually you might not. So, yeah. That's it. That's really it. So, Brad, speaking of social media and people abusing it, you have a What the Fuck Tweet of the Week coming up.
Well, it's about you.
I know it's about me.
I guess you can tell it best.
No. I want you to tell it.
Well, I'm completely unprepared to talk. I mean, let's be honest. So many people don't like you that it's like, it's not exactly like picking a needle out of a haystack. That's what I'm saying, I guess. You got into it with someone, blah, blah, blah. And you know the backstory. You know this person. There's a backstory to it that you can tell.
I'll do it. I got to find it. I don't know if he blocked me or not. I almost blocked him, but I thought about it, and I'm like, maybe I can use these later. By the way, Wade Keller, pretty cool guy, I got to say, as I'm looking back at these. Really nice. And he knows wrestling. Okay, can I?
He does.
Is this going to show? See, it doesn't show the entire conversation, so this is going to last a little bit, everybody. So stick with us. Burp. So, that's what that guy deserves, right in the face. So, here we go. On Raw, we'll talk about it a little bit later. Roman Reigns in the main event, right? We all know what happened. If you don't, you're living under a rock. During the match, they showed an advertisement for Roman Reigns on ESPN with Jonathan Coachman. Now, I don't need to explain this in depth because, well, number one, that just gave away the ending. I loved the ending. We'll get into that later. Brad and I'll fight about it. But, the ending was great, but I didn't like how they just kind of said, well, he's going to be with Coachman. Oh, but he might get fired tonight. It didn't make sense. From a producing standpoint, this is what I said. For promoting Roman Reigns' ESPN spot at this time was pure laziness and ignorance. It was unreal because it was lazy and ignorant. They didn't properly adjust to the situation, properly adjust to what was going on in front of them, and they could have easily promoted it for the previous 2.5 hours. That or before Roman Reigns said, "Well, if you don't win, you're fired," because then how would we have known? People would have forgot anyway. So okay.
How about you just say? The WWE World Heavyweight Champion will be appearing on SportsCenter this week. Exactly. And you don't name a name.
Exactly.
Or you say it right after he wins.
That too.
I mean,
he was celebrating for 5 minutes after the match. You could have said it then.
There's no quality control. Nobody is paying attention to the cooks in the kitchen.
You're right. Do we really have to? So, Deke Stokes, whose real name is Josh something or fuck, because he's pretty much irrelevant.
Josh Idiot Face.
Yeah, he works at, and thank you for standing up for me. He used to work for Wrestle Enigma. I was a part of that website for a while. That's when I was at Bleacher Report. And it was just a blog, no money involved, and it was based on wrestling columns and editorials and like series of stories. And a lot of their writers were very, very good. He came in near the end when it was failing, and it's no longer a website, go figure. He replied to my tweet and said, from someone who has actually worked in TV production, you always put your sponsored draws in your main event. I'm like, and I said, you clearly missed my point. And I was very nice. His ESPN ad came during his match. Lazy writing. And I've worked in TV. I said 10 years to make a point. It's been 6 or 7. And I said, nice try. Still, I'm not a dick yet. I'm not. And then he said, if you've been working for TV for 10 years, you've been doing a piss poor job of it. Firstly, you always place advertisements. And it was like, what? And like I said, I'm trying to find everything.
He basically said you always place the advertisements where there's the most viewers watching.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And it's like, okay, nobody's disputing that. What we're disputing is, Do it after the match when all the viewers are watching.
Yeah.
Or just don't name a fucking name. Say the champion's going to be on the show.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all you have to do.
And the second part of his tweet said, for people on your show on television. So firstly, you always place ads for people on your show on television with them on. How is it lazy writing? It's the common sense way of advertising, not a complete sentence. And I said, that's not true at all. And I turned into an asshole. And then I said, I'm trying to find everything. And I said, how'd that Wrestle Enigma job treat you? They're doing really well. I thought it was a good comeback. And he said, it wasn't a job. It was something I did for fun, willingly. The guy had good grammar. I'll give him that. Don't claim to know me in some idiotic attempt to move blame, which I wasn't. And then he comes back. It's the simple solution to an easy segment. You put what you want most advertised on when you have the most viewers. And then he said, this Twitter's so fucked up. And then he said, yeah, it wasn't a job. So, and I'm like, okay, then, before I criticize you, because I was about to, before I criticize you, where do you work? And he said, local news and sports. And then I said, what station, what market? He said, why the fuck would I put my local station and therefore reveal where I am? And I can probably find him in 5 minutes. It's called the White Pages, people. Review to a stranger starting a fight. And I said, bro, you don't know this business. Stop claiming that you do. All right, stand by, people. Twitter, like, it's not hard to understand. Like, it's not hard to, not hard.
Don't bro me. Don't bro me if you don't know me.
Yeah. And then I eventually said, doesn't your bio say former indie writer? What actually happened? And then he said, I got a real job. In a profession that you claim to know so much about. And then that's when I said, where do you work and shit? And I'm like, bro, you don't even know this biz, trying to consolidate words. Stop claiming that you do. Wrestling equals different. Operates on odd levels. It always have. And no one will dispute that. Wrestling is so different. It's hard to be like, well, this is happening this way. It's so different. You can't really say it's not. Moving on. And he's like, and you do, from your self-imposed podcast. So I'm glad he listens. Don't act like you're some kind of in the know wrestling site, bro. The period goes inside the comma, outside the comma. Or the apostrophe. He fucked up on that one. And then I said, when you write for a real site, let me know. I like how much you contribute to society. It makes a big difference. And yet I haven't sworn yet. I like to keep Twitter clean. And he goes, and not only do you misinform your followers, not true, I don't report lies. You aggressively attack those that point you out you're wrong. What a hero. I don't aggressively attack anybody. I was having an argument with him.
What was his name again?
His Twitter handle is Thomas Dreamboat. Just how it sounds. One word.
Thomas Dreamboat, you might need to go into your room, turn on the lights, and powder your fucking pussy.
And I'm like, way more than you do. Enigma blogs don't count. Wrestle Enigma blogs don't count. And he said the difference, I never pretended to know anything about the wrestling booking. I just informed you on simple media. And that's where it ended. And I feel like he didn't come out winning anything. And I didn't accomplish anything either, except prove that, it's a lesson that everyone can learn. Stand with your morals. Have faith and have belief in something and stay with it. Don't just falter back because someone else is telling you differently. 2, if you're passionate about something, and this is a life lesson for everybody at home, if you're passionate about something, learn everything that you can. I've learned more about television since I was in middle school, than I feel like most in my age has, because I've always been passionate about it. I'm sure there are those that have done the same that I have, and I'm hoping they're successful. Like I'm attempting to be. It's hard. It's a hard industry. But I feel that there's a way to talk to people, a way not to talk to people. He aggressively attacked me. I didn't attack him. I was simply just in a constant rebuttal against him, albeit with proper grammar. And what are you doing?
I'm taking a Thomas Dreamboat. And I just flushed him.
Well, okay, and that's all that I had. So that was your what the fuck tweet series of the week. That could have lasted for months. Well, that sounds like his career. So where do you what are your thoughts on this Twitter feud, quote unquote, which had a lot more storytelling and logic than a lot of WWE storytelling, but we'll get into that later. What did you think?
Well, Mean Gene, I am the king of working jabroni marks into a shoot, brother. Speaking of Mean Gene.
God damn it. Are you not going to comment on what the Twitter feud that I had?
Okay, congratulations. You got a few more to go to catch up to me.
Thanks, okay. Go ahead. Go ahead with your Mean Gene.
Speaking of Mean Gene Okerlund. Okay, so I thought it would be really cool if we had Mean Gene doing our podcast intro.
I like that.
I was going to pay Mean Gene to do our podcast intro through this Celeb VM thing.
Okay.
So I actually sent the money to the site for Mean Gene to do our podcast introduction, and I even listed information about our podcast and about you and about me.
Oh boy, that's exciting.
I did, and and some of the things I listed were not overly serious. And so I got an email back yesterday saying your money's been refunded. He's refused to do it.
Wow.
He didn't like the information I gave.
What did you give him?
I told him you were Pittsburgh's hottest bachelor. No, but I did say something about you and Tinder. Did I say that?
Yeah, I don't know. Did you?
I don't remember. I did say that I was the king of working jabroni marks into a shoot. I wasn't. It wasn't overly serious. That's the point I'm making. I don't remember what I said.
Do you know how much you actually spent? Are you willing to say that on camera?
I think it was $40.
Holy hell!
Maybe 25 or 40. One of the two. I can't remember. But yeah, that's what I was getting. I wanted the Mean Gene introduction, and I didn't get it. So, Mean Gene, fuck you.
You should get blocked by him on Twitter too. So, okay, there is a shit ton to talk about. We're gonna try to get all this wrapped up in proper fashion with less comedy, more and the analysis. So let's start off.
Analysis.
Analysis. Oh boy, that's an analysis. You don't want that.
Stop telling us about your new girlfriend.
Oh, I don't have. She's not my girlfriend, man. She's not. Maybe in the future. We don't know. We don't know things. The future is as ambiguous as my mind. So moving on.
He's taking it slow. Next week he'll have her pants off.
Trust me, if that was already in the bag, I would have her in my bag. What up? So let's start off. Can we start finally? I've said that 4 times. We're going to start off with
TLC. No one gives a fuck about wrestling.
Well, I don't agree with that. That's a bit of an absolute statement. It is Star Wars week, so speaking in absolutes is allowed. Everyone loves wrestling. Everyone hates wrestling. We all love you. We all hate you. See, it's fun. TLC. There's a lot of things we could say, but like I said, we're going to try to simplify everything for you so we can get everything in. TLC, the pre-show. Sasha and Becky, go.
Didn't watch it, first of all.
God damn it. Then fuck off. I did. I thought it was a good match. They weren't given a lot of time. I think it went 8 or 9 minutes. And they did what they could with what they were given. So I liked it. It should have been on the main card. There are 3 matches I see that didn't deserve to be on the actual card. No, 2 matches. So they could have gave Sasha and Becky 20 minutes and just got rid of these 2 matches that meant absolutely nothing.
Yeah, well, they already had a Divas match on the card.
Who cares? And NXT had 2 of them today.
Well, they can't have 2. Can't do that.
Why not?
You'll have to ask Vince that. I don't know.
Well, goddamn. 2 women. They're going to kill each other.
God damn. 2 matches? Nobody wants to see that shit.
Well, then again, NXT. I want to know the viewer rating of NXT today. I really do. I don't know if they are able to track how many watched live. I don't know if they can do that. But anyway, great match. Okay, starting off for the shit that Brad did view, the tag team title triple threat, the New Day, Usos, Lucha Dragon. The New Day was victorious. I thought was the second best match of the night. you might think differently.
I think you're right, and I think you also just described the problem.
Well, I don't think so. It was clearly a spot fest, but like it told a story too. I think it was kind of like a double. It hit you both ways. At least it did for me.
Nothing hits me both ways.
That's true. Well, maybe Mean Gene. Never mind.
Okay, but here, seriously, in all seriousness, here's my problem with it. The first match of the card should never be the second best match of the card. You shouldn't be going out there having 20 million spots because the cards, the matches after that in the card can't follow that.
Well,
the whole booking of a wrestling show is to progress the intensity in the match throughout the show, leading to the main event.
Okay,
that's wrestling psychology booking 101.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
And my other point is, yes, the action was great. And, they did all the flippity doos, the Salida del Sol, Kalisto almost killed himself. But what was the reason that they needed to have a TLC match to settle issues that didn't exist? These gimmick pay-per-views have got to go. These wrestlers are killing their bodies for no reason. There's no story. There's no big climax. A TLC match is something that should happen when two people want to kill each other, not a pay-per-view every year because they just have a gimmick pay-per-view because that's just a cool thing to do.
Like Kevin Owens, Dean Ambrose. Am I reading your mind here?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I mean, that was I guess maybe worthy of something, but I mean, for me, you have to tone down the first match, and the agent or producer, whatever they're calling them now, should have picked up on that, should have worked on that, and prevented that. But you just got to learn, and also you got to get rid of these gimmick pay-per-views. So that's my thought on that match. The action itself was very good. There's no question.
Yeah, I agree, but I'll disagree at the same time. As we move on, I think they booked it well because you had the tag team title match first, then you had two pieces of shit, Rusev and Ryback. I'm not even gonna get into that. It was fucking dumb. Del Rio Swagger didn't make any sense. That was stupid too. Rusev and Del Rio both won, by the way, for those who missed the actual pay-per-view. And then they had the 8-man tag, and then you had Ambrose and Owens, and then it was the Divas match, kind of a letdown, honestly. And then you had Sheamus and Reigns. I think they had breaks where their big matches were, and you were able to tell which ones they were invested in properly. I liked it. I liked it a lot. So, I agree with what you're saying. You can't have like the best in a row, shit, and then the best. You need to have, a great match here, 2 buffers, a good match here, 2 buffers, or 1 buffer, and then your main event, right? I think there's a lot of ways to do it. But anyway, Rusev and Del Rio, they both won. Who gives a shit? Now the 8-man tag. Finally.
Well,
what?
I just wanted to say.
Go for it. What do you say? What do you want?
The Rusev and Ryback stuff.
Why?
It's just not good, and
it's horrible.
And Ryback he just doesn't do it for me. He just doesn't. And
what's
they've got to do something better. They've got to do something better with Rusev and Del Rio just it's just kind of like it's been a flop too. He just is going through the motions at this point, and Swagger could get over more. There's some potential there with the right booking for sure, but he's pissed them off. He got pulled over. He was getting ready to have the big match for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania, and got busted with marijuana and was whatever else. And okay, and then he passed out drunk in a production meeting, and so like he's on the shit list. So he's just like they do nothing with him, which is a shame. But
who's that?
Anyway, that's my thought. Jack Swagger.
Well, probably. Yeah, those 2 matches were simply pointless. I don't understand. So the 8-man tag, I thought they did it the right way. The Wyatt family crushed them, and it's about damn time.
Can't argue that. It was the right call.
Absolutely. Bray Wyatt's one of those guys that doesn't need a title to be over. It's obvious. Just like Enzo and Cass in NXT. They don't need a title to go over. Whoops, spoiler. They don't need one.
But they do need to win.
But they do need to win. I'm not saying don't win ever. I'm saying just don't win a belt. Undertaker, God, he might have only held the title 5 times or less in his career, or maybe. And then he's still one of the best wrestlers of all time. One of the most. I could go on and on and on. He might have held only a few belts ever. Did he need to hold the belt as much as The Rock? No. Did he need it? Did he need it to propel his career? Absolutely not. But it helps, right? It helps. It's the guys that need it. Bray doesn't need it, but I'm glad they won, and they did it in dominating fashion.
Yep, that was great. No complaints about that at all.
By the way, he was World Heavyweight Champ 3 times, WWF Champ 4 times. So he's 7-time champ. But I know a lot of those, like he was still the most over guy in the company post 2007, and he only won the belt another, I think, 1 or 2 more times after 2007. So, that's where Undertaker gets involved in this. Anyway, moving on to my favorite match of the night, Dean Ambrose and Kevin Owens. The ending kind of, lost a little luster. The world's slowest rollout into a pin off of a power bomb. But I'm glad it ended the way it did. Dean needed this.
Yeah, it was creative. It was, they're not luchadors, but it was a creative ending, and so I like that. I liked Ambrose winning. Obviously, I'm an Ambrose guy, and I loved how he did the celebration after. He improv to show how important this was to him.
Do you think that wasn't staged? Do you think that was just...
No, that was improv.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, hey, you got to give the stuff to the guys that want it the most, and clearly he wants it. He wants it more than a lot of people. Okay, now, I have really no complaints, and we saw the feud progress on Raw the next night. Divas Championship match, Charlotte and Paige. It was a battle of who's the heel, and clearly Charlotte's still the heel.
Yeah, I could have cared less about this.
That's unfortunate, right? Because you have 2 good wrestlers, even though you disagree, that know how to work it, know how to, I think Charlotte's better as a heel anyway.
She is.
And I think Paige is good as that tweener character if you want to have one of those. But you need to sell the story more. You need to. It wasn't sold at all.
I agree.
Wow, that was fast. Okay, main event. Main event, Sheamus and Roman Reigns. If you see my Twitter, you know how I felt. The match itself, I counted 7 cool spots, but it wasn't really the match that made the conversation. It was after that. Brad, go ahead.
Yeah, so the talk, of course, is about the same place a year ago where he won the Rumble, booed out of the building, basically. Even The Rock couldn't save the segment. And he actually came out to a very, very poor reaction to this match as well. But at the very end, Vince McMahon had thrown the kitchen sink at everything. And it was just another it was a physical match, but it was a screw job. And it was all leading up to what would happen on Monday night.
Yeah, for sure.
Which to me, I get it. Of course, a lot of times you want to see title changes on Raw, but or on the pay-per-view, you saw it on Raw, and I get why, but it leads to the interference and the bro kick and the blah blah. It's I guess it just was what it was. It was physical. Don't get me wrong.
That's what I said. I counted 7 cool spots.
Yeah, but it was just not overly exciting to me. The reaction he got. There's no heat, and we've talked about this. There's no heat with Sheamus, and up until this point, the Reigns deal had been an epic failure, and so. They're just trying to build more sympathy, had him lose again, and it was just kind of was what it was. The pay-per-view was all right. It was just...
Yeah, it was okay. A lot of good moments, a lot of bad moments. But I gotta say, man, Roman made me a fan. I have a sizable rant. It's pretty short, but it's sizable in impact about why the creative team figured it out. But damn it, it took way too long. So pay-per-view was okay. The ending was, the tag match was great. The 8-man tag was pretty good. Dean and Kevin were great as always, and then Reigns stole the show at the end for me. Aside from Kalisto nearly killing himself. Now, moving to Monday Night Raw. What's that?
That's Roman Reigns riding off into the sunset with Vince McMahon.
Who's sucking who? Me and the spear. That's what's sucking who. So, Monday Night Raw. And now, Brad, I see in your planner you have a lot of stuff here in our agenda. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to pick out of this comprehensive list. I see about 12 or 13 things here. I'm going to pick 5. And I'm going to play with you, hit or miss, okay?
Okay.
And then we can give our overall impressions of the entire show.
All right.
Hit or miss, Stephanie and Roman Reigns' promo to begin the show.
Miss.
Okay.
I
Which
hated
part?
this.
The entire thing?
I hated this. Yes, I hated it.
Do you want to know what I liked first? Stephanie, she didn't hold back on those slaps. And his face afterwards on Instagram, it looked like they actually hurt.
Well, I'm sure it did. Someone slapped you in the face 5 or 6 fucking times. Yeah.
It's happened. It's happened to me, unfortunately. But I liked her aggressiveness. I really did.
I didn't.
Okay, all right. Explain why you didn't like it. Why did it miss for you?
Because she has got to stop putting herself over the talent of the roster, and she's got to stop emasculating these male superstars that she wants to be the top of the company.
Isn't that her job, though? She is the chief or the principal owner or whatever the fuck.
But she's totally humiliating these guys by doing, slapping them over and over and over. It's like, that's not going to get someone over as some badass that people want to pull for. They're like, man, what a bitch. He just sat there and took it and had this stupid look on his face, and she made him look like a goddamn idiot. I wasn't a fan of this at all. And it's a part of the whole problem with the company and their storytelling. No matter what they do, they got to make sure Stephanie McMahon goes over in all these fucking segments.
Oh,
it's stupid.
Well, that's a solid point. Okay. I mean, I liked her emotion at the end whenever she says, one more thing, and then her mic cut out, and then she slapped him again. I thought it was a nice touch. I wish, and if they were going to do something like that, I'd rather have that been in the 9 o'clock hour and then have the Vince thing in the 10 o'clock hour, not, 8 and 9. I don't know. That's just me, though. But either way.
We didn't need 2 Roman Reigns and McMahon segments at the 2 top of the hours, 8 and 9 o'clock. We did not need that.
Yeah, I would rather have it at the 9 than the 10. That's just me, though. You don't have it immediately because you want to sell what happened, right? I would like to have been able to see the sell. Okay, moving on. I know what you thought of Ziggler and Ambrose already. So the promo between Vince and Roman Reigns, but not actually. Yeah, let's do that. But what also led up to it was the R-Truth and Bo Dallas ending. That was hilarious.
That was terrible.
Oh, I see. You're trying to show Vince's dominance. He's been away for a long time. Having him just no sell an entire match, I thought was great.
It's not great for the talent. It's not.
It's R-Truth and Bo Dallas. Who gives a shit?
Clearly, he doesn't. That's never going to sell tickets when your CEO comes out and basically tells you he doesn't give a shit about this match. Well, guess what? You're probably not going to either as the fan.
Well, he no one does care, really.
Well, then why do they book it?
For that reason alone. I'm not disagreeing with you. I just thought it was I thought it was good.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of doing that to the talent. Not when they're not even involved. There's no payoff for them. It's just like, I'm the 70-year-old CEO, and get the hell out of my ring. You're terrible, and in your match, and you're meaningless, and I'm just not a fan of that.
Okay, that's your opinion. That's completely fair. What about the Vince and Reigns promo itself?
Wasn't a fan of that either.
I think if Reigns had the promo ability of like a Cena, a Punk, a Bryan, I don't know who else I can't even think of, a Dean, a Seth, I think it would have went off a lot better. But since he just lacks on the promo skills so severely, it takes away from those special moments.
Big time. And then you had Sheamus interfere, and it just was a clusterfuck, and it just wasn't good to me. It just wasn't very good.
It had can you agree it had a shit ton of potential, like a really defining moment? I do.
It had more potential than it turned out to be, but Reigns is not the guy who, he's not the guy who's going to be the next John Cena. I think that's the problem ultimately, but they're putting him in the position because they feel he could be. And he's just not someone who can go out there and do that kind of banter or a promo with especially someone like Vince McMahon. It's going to make him look bad, and it did.
Yeah. Hey, that kick in the shriveled up prunes.
It goes to my point. Like with Stephanie, like Vince kicks him in the balls. So it's like. Again, you're taking your guy you want to be your top guy, and you're totally emasculating him. What was the point of that?
Heel heat.
Heel heat on who? The guy's never there. He's the CEO of the company.
Oh, I did read today that that might have been just a one-time thing. But either way.
I'm more scared about the end result of all of this.
Yeah, well, Raw's going to be extremely interesting without Vince, Roman as well, the champ. I mean, everyone saw it.
Well, and Hunter is potentially the number one contender.
Maybe. What if Triple H won the Royal Rumble?
I would probably consider refusing to watch.
Really? I've heard a lot of people, a lot of analysts that would love it. And that
I would absolutely hate it, and I would consider not watching for the first time ever if that happens. I'm not saying I won't. I'm not saying I will. I'm just saying, honestly, for the first time, I would consider like, hey, this is just not for me anymore. Maybe I should take another look at whether I want to watch this and waste my time.
I never thought I'd hear you say that. I thought you would have enjoyed the heel heat that if Triple H. Either way.
Not as the main event match. No fucking way.
Yeah.
This guy is already an executive in the company, okay?
Yeah.
And he wants so bad to be one of the top stars in the history of the business. And he's worked his way into that executive role, and he's built a lot of influence and, in building up his reputation and, all that good stuff. That's great, but God damn, you don't need to be in a major match at WrestleMania every year. You're in your mid-40s, and you need to start building up some goddamn stars. And you need to stop having these 40-something and 50-something-year-olds wrestling at WrestleMania. Create the new Triple H's, the new Undertakers, the new whatever guys. They're going to come in with their own unique character and look and take that spot. But I'm over it. I don't want to see it whatsoever. I will be pissed, and not in a he's a heel. Oh, I don't want to see him win way. I mean, I'll be pissed in this product fucking sucks way, and I'm not sure if I want to watch it anymore. But I'm deeply concerned that scenario we're discussing is very possible. And they don't have a top heel to face Roman. And that's their own goddamn fault because they have plenty of chance. They have plenty of opportunity. They could have done it with Dean Ambrose. They could have done it with a million other guys they could have brought up from NXT or built someone else up. But no, they don't want to do that. They're going to go to the Triple H card because Triple H has got to main event another fucking WrestleMania.
Well, he hasn't actually main evented a Mania since 25 with Cena and Orton. To be fair,
okay, but he's main evented a lot of them, and he's had a lot of big matches where you could call them a co-main event, or if they're not the main event, they're very high up on the card. You had the match with The Undertaker. You had the match with The Undertaker again. Hell, they had 3 matches.
And Sting. Don't forget Sting.
Yeah, he most recently had the Sting match. I mean, so you're making my point.
And now, so the New Day, Usos, and Lucha Dragons in-ring promo. What do you think?
This was stupid. I thought this was stupid. I told you what they're doing with the New Day, what they're at risk of doing. They're getting too wacky and it's over the top and there's no point to anything and it's just stupid. It's like it was just stupid. It was totally pointless. The heels come out and the New Day, and then they congratulate the Lucha Dragons and the Usos, and everything is good. And then it's not good, and it's just like, but there was no point to any of this. It was just stupid.
Do you think that they were trying to? I mean, at this point, why aren't the Usos and Lucha Dragons the heels, right? Because they did a heel thing.
They did.
But they're not the heels.
I know. None of it makes any sense.
And that's just another piece to add to the pile as far as what's exactly happening. I'll get to my final thoughts on Raw here in a minute. The main event, Roman Reigns, Sheamus.
Yeah, okay, so the main event itself is particularly the end. That is the best they have booked a singles competitor, Roman Reigns, to date. Yes. By far. Who would have thought if you get a guy and you have him kick ass and take names that the crowd would like that? Who would have fucking thought that? I mean, did it really take them a year to figure that out?
Let me say something first. It is kind of the Stone Cold Steve Austin thing. They're kind of just rehashing it. I'm being fair because that they are, but
they've shifted. They've gone different ways. They tried doing the Daniel Bryan thing. That was a flop because they can't rehash that because he wasn't over like Daniel Bryan. So now they're trying the badass Roman Reigns thing, and that caught on. A year after being booed out of the building there, he was over that night.
Yes.
Now, keep in mind, okay, there's a couple of things to watch with this and Roman Reigns going forward.
What's that?
So you want to look at, they had the McMahons. They had him punch Vince. There was a title change, okay? And the title change, which always gets a pop anyway, like, it hasn't happened in so many years that we knew it would get a pop regardless. But it was also beating a champion who has no heat and nobody likes.
You're right.
They were glad that anybody would beat this fucker. So those are things to keep. So was it really all we love Roman, or was it a little bit of this stuff too? So the big deal is going to be how he gets cheered going forward. And
not in a Mark City.
Right. Not in a Mark City where you've literally done every fucking thing possible to get him over by having him smack him around, you kick him in the balls, then he comes back and punches you out, and he kicks a bunch of people's asses. I mean, they went all out here to try and get him over. So, putting him back in the normal storylines, is that going to continue? We'll have to wait and see.
I'm personally kind of excited to see it, and I hope it's not a mistake. I hope what they did, and that was my point earlier. Before you went on, what you were talking about. Do you know how easy it was to book Roman the right way? It took 2 nights, and I don't know who said it on Twitter, but I had to reiterate. Do you know how fucking simple that was? That was easy. It was so easy. That's
Very.
It was so easy. You and I said it for months. And finally, they're trying to figure it out. Okay, now the big question: your overall thoughts on Monday Night Raw. And when I say a lot of people, I'm not just talking like a Sith Lord. I'm being serious. A lot of people claim that to be the best Raw all year. Granted They haven't had much to go with, but there are also some that say that might have been the best Raw in the last few years. And even though we
well, that's
what?
That's totally ridiculous. I can't take that seriously. The best Raw in the past few years, that's just ridiculous. You know what the problem is? The problem is the standard is so low now for what a quality or good Raw show is. These fans, and not me because I don't feel this way, have been conditioned to eat shit and like it. So when they finally get a little something good or something that is average, it's, in their opinion, much better than it really is. They've set such a low bar. And, the ratings prove that. And so for me, it was all right. You still got stuff like, okay, Neville being made fun of with his big, dumb, floppy ears, and The Miz saying, oh, well, I want to be the next James Bond, and I'll help you if you help me. I need a British accent, because apparently that's what the fucking Bond is it needs a British accent. Like, it was just so stupid. It didn't make any sense. The Rosebush segment is horrible. They made fun of Ric Flair's marriages and lost fortune and Tommy Dreamer's hair, bald spot. It's just like, so some of it was good. Some of it I didn't like at all. So it was just all right for me.
I actually loved Raw. It flew by. I had a good time watching it. There's places to improve, but you have to give them credit. The ratings proved that people cared way more than they have.
Okay, but that's like saying, okay, so what you're saying is like, oh, well, I doubled my profits. Yeah, I went from $1 to $2.
Yeah,
okay.
And
so, yeah, you doubled your profits, but you only have $2 fucking. That's a good way to describe Raw here. Yeah, sure, the ratings were up, of course, but they were shit. They were terrible. So they went up a little bit, sure, but they were still terrible. They were the number was still terrible. So it's like, let's not get overboard.
Talking about doing that, the stumble of the week.
Paige, you are a bitch. How can you do this to my daughter? Hey,
Ric Flair, I love you.
Yeah.
Paige, you are the man.
You're hot. Yeah. Let's do a figure 12 on Paige. I'll do it to her face. I'll face fuck her, and it'll be a figure 12.
Paige, vagina, I love.
Charlotte, I'm sorry. You're going to have a stepsister with Paige.
And for me, I feel like the Ric Flair stumble of the week, as I try to talk. Well, I should be on plentyoffish.com. Well, I am. We're talking what Raw did well and what didn't do well. So I really don't have a stumble this week, Brad, because I've enjoyed wrestling all week for one of the first times in a long time. What was your stumble of the week, Brad?
My stumble of the week was... It was the McMahon's emasculating Roman Reigns.
For me, it was actually Ric Flair stumbling, running away from the ring. But beggars can't be choosers, can they?
Ric Flair was on Raw?
Oh, you didn't know?
No. What, is he related to someone?
I don't think so. What are you getting at?
Well, we've got to be reminded every week that Charlotte and Ric Flair are father and daughter.
Yeah, that's a little weird, isn't it? I mean, isn't it time for him to go? I love Ric Flair, I really do. But, like, why? For what?
Well, that's how they think they're going to get her over, but it's not working. It's not what they need.
Do you know
they need her to be her own individual character.
Do you know how she got over in NXT?
How did she get over in NXT, John?
By herself.
By herself. All by myself.
Okay, well, you know what? NXT Takeover.
Which we are recording this on Wednesday evening.
Yes.
And it came on 3 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday today. So we have actually watched it.
Yes. And
you are torturing small animals in your basement. That's what it sounds like.
well, that or just never mind.
You've been reading too many Plenty of Fish profiles. I don't know.
They're giving me a lot of ideas. You know, Takeover London was a great show. Asuka and Emma, amazing. Apollo Crews, Baron Corbin. You know what? No. My stumble of the week has to be Baron Corbin yelling at Apollo Crews. You should have stayed in Ring of Honor.
That was great.
That was hilarious. And I don't think Corbin's that stupid. I think he knew where Apollo Crews came from. By the way, everyone, Dragon Gate USA. But whatever.
Well, technically, he did work a Ring of Honor Super Show with Preston City Wrestling, but the whole point was, he was just making fun of him, like, you know, by naming some kind of what you would assume independent wrestling company. Yeah. I mean, that was the point. That was his character, and that was the point, and it worked great. It got a lot of buzz, and I love that match. You know, a lot of people, some like it, some didn't, and I thought, you know, well, the match potential itself could be questionable just because they're so different sizes and styles, but they did pretty good. And yeah, Baron Corbin has improved so much, and you know, I'm a Baron Corbin guy, and as you know, and yeah, I thought he did really good here, and the crowd absolutely hated his guts. They were chanting "Fuck you, Baron," and all kinds of stuff. It was great.
Yeah, oh for sure.
He worked them big time.
Corbin knows how to piss people off. He's good at it,
and they need to run with it.
They do, and I'm actually kind of surprised that they won. Are you?
I was a little surprised. I thought it was 50-50. He's done well on NXT specials, but Apollo Crews is kind of like one of their golden children or whatever. So I thought Apollo may win, but then I thought it could depend on who wins the main event too. Because I thought the winner of Crews and Corbin could be the number one contender. But, yeah, I thought it was about 50-50. I was very glad to see Baron Corbin win.
Yeah, I was too. I was shocked, but it was like a kind of a good shock, you know.
They need a top heel, like, you know, somewhat a young top heel. They've got a Samoa Joe who's experienced and, you know, he's older. And they need a guy like Corbin who they can bring up to the main roster because there is no – fucking top heels there.
The only one they had was Hurt. The only one they could have made is Hurt. The Cesaro could be a heel. He's hurt. Yeah, and Dean Ambrose isn't turning heel anytime soon, clearly. But the tag team championship. Enzo and Cass, and I had to talk with my friend who's a big mark for Enzo and Cass. He's like, it's bullshit how they keep jobbing. No. They're not jobbing. They are just like the Wyatts in a different light. They don't need to win to be over. They're already massively. They're one of the most over tag teams of all time, and they've only been there 3 years now. 3 years,
mm-hmm.
And it was a great match. And I gotta say, I hate Dash and Dawson, but they make me hate them because they're good at what they do.
Yeah. For me, this was a good match. Actually, it was very good, and the false finish there, what it looked like Enzo and Colin would win. There was a false finish at the end, and you know, I thought, you know, and he got pulled out from under him, and the count was broken up. But I thought they had it there. It was a very good match. I am a fan of Dash and Dawson. I think they remind me of almost like a Brainbusters, Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard, old school throwback tag team, and I like that. I like it.
Don't get me wrong. I'm extremely impressed. Like, they just make me hate them because they're good healers.
Yeah. It was great. Like some of the stuff they were doing during the match with rolling out of the ring and walking off and whatever, or cheap shotting. That was great. That was heel stuff that heels should be doing.
I know.
It was something that was commonplace, you know, many years ago. So I loved it. I mean, I thought that was great Amore and Cassidy, they're great. I do think there's, look, they're going to run into a problem if they don't give them a win eventually. But for the most part, right now they're in a position where they're over and they don't need to win every match. I do agree. But you have to give them something eventually. So they have to do that before the crowd kind of turns on them. But yeah, I thought it was too early in the Dash and Dawson tag team title reign for the belts to switch.
I think next takeover special, which will be WrestleMania, I bet you Enzo and Cass win it.
It'll either be them or it'll probably be Gable and Jordan.
Yeah. But like I said, you do need to give Enzo and Cass something eventually. And
just even if that's not the championship, they're not winning on any of the NXT Takeover specials. Put them against someone else, Blake and Murphy, and have them win clean. Anything, something like that at least.
That did happen last week.
On a takeover special.
Okay. Yeah. I can't disagree with that. The women's championship match, Bayley and Nia Jax, a lot of controversy, but I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah, it was good for what it was. I mean, Nia Jax, however the hell you. I'm gonna call her Nia, and it's probably Nia, but I don't really care. I'm gonna call her whatever I want to because I'm an American and that's my right.
Great, good for you. I'm glad.
So Nia Snacks or Jax, sorry.
That's rude.
Wow, she's 5'11", 272.
I know.
No, I'm saying she's like a monster. She compared to her opponents, she's huge. That's a good thing. They need a character like that. They haven't had one in a long time. Well, they haven't had one in NXT like that, but they haven't had one in So that's a good thing. That's what I'm saying. But she's so limited. She's so bad in the ring, kind of like Eva. I think Eva Marie's better.
Oh, stop it. No, I think Nia.
Nia knows. Let's see. Nia does know how to kick out at 2. Okay, so never mind.
That's true.
But yeah, no. What I didn't like about this match was, 4 finishers were kicked out of by Bayley. I'm not a fan of that, and they're kind of making her the new John Cena of the female NXT talent. And they just have to be really careful there because she works best as the underdog babyface, with a lot of sympathy. And if she becomes that machine babyface like a Cena, the crowd will end up turning on her. So they do have to keep that in mind. But also, I wouldn't have had 2 big heel money matches so close together. They had Eva. It's like they blew their load all in one day. They had Eva and they had Nia Jax, and they could have done that, and it would, they could have spread that out and held that off to a WrestleMania. But they had both matches so quick together. Now who's she supposed to work with?
Well, they teased an Asuka Nia Jax feud, which
but that's a terrible idea because. Now it's like, okay, you don't want Asuka to lose, but Nia Jax can't afford to lose. She's the monster heel who just, she couldn't finish off the smaller Bayley. So it's like, it's really a dangerous feud to do right now.
They also have like Peyton Royce, Billie Kay, Lee Morgan. They have talent. Emma and Dana Brooke. There's people to wrestle with. So they still have talent.
Yeah, but nobody cares about those matches. They need the big money matches, and they blew those already.
Well, I think they care about those. Asuka and the feud with Dana Brooke and Emma was fantastic.
Yeah, okay, but that's not selling. I mean, that's not selling tickets. That's not like a big money match.
I don't know. Asuka was really, really, really over. And you can't say with a Mark crowd she's over that way every week.
Well, it's a Mark crowd to begin with there that attends.
Absolutely. So I think either way with...
I mean, she would have crickets on the main roster.
Asuka, I doubt that.
Oh, I don't.
Why not?
But why would she? What proof do you have that they're 2 totally different animals, 2 different audiences? What proof do you have that she would get any reaction? How many 10-year-olds have seen her work in Japan?
Well, I mean, you can say the same thing about any wrestler in NXT. Then Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, even.
Okay, but Asuka is a veteran. She's older. She's not just some new fish they brought up to NXT.
Yeah, well, I mean, I hope it doesn't come to that, really. And then and we'll talk about main roster in just a little bit. In the main event, Balor and Joe. What did you think?
It was a good match.
Physical.
Yeah, physical match for sure. Good match, which, probably everyone suspected it would be. It had a storyline to it that was good. I'm more of a fan of Finn Balor as kind of the Bullet Club sort of, sarcastic little baby face, smiley, sarcastic little, giving the two sweets or whatever, that type of baby face, rather than the Jack the Ripper or whatever the fuck, he's like, whatever the monster gimmick, whatever it is. I'm more of a fan. Yeah.
I love the demon. I think it's amazing.
I know you do. Yeah. I know you do. I don't. I prefer the other. And I just think it's a little hokey. Like, I think that's another thing that would flop on the main roster as well. And I know you don't. But overall, the match was good. I'd like to see Finn Balor change his finish. I just don't like the double foot stomp as a finish. But the match was very good.
Now, go ahead. I'm sorry. I don't want to.
No, I mean, it was a good match, and I thought he would probably win, and he did.
Who does he drop the belt to?
Hopefully Baron Corbin.
I agree with you. But here's the thing. And for the Slammy Awards, Brad, I know you did a big job of putting this in the agenda, in which I know that you literally copied and pasted the WWE.com descriptions and put them in. So you didn't really do that much of a job on it, but I appreciate you putting it in. Can we all have a nice disagreement that no one gives a fuck about the Slammy Awards?
Yeah, nobody does. I mean, that's the thing. It was just advertised, like all of a sudden out of the blue, like, okay, yeah, next week is the Slammy Awards, our Oscars, or whatever the fuck it is. It's like they turned this, I'll tell you, growing up watching WWF, they used to do the Slammy Awards, and it wasn't part of a show. It was its own show, and it was a big deal. And then they didn't make it a big deal, and now nobody cares about it. So yeah, nobody fucking cares about this. And by the way, they come up with the stupidest categories. Okay, it's like celebrity moment of the year. Tell me you didn't just say that, or it's it's just it's. It was just the hashtag of the year. It was
the one that I do love, best U.S. Open challenge. That's good. I'll give him credit. That's pretty creative.
Well, yeah, they have to make sure John Cena gets an award.
He's not getting an award. It's the other wrestler.
Yeah, you'll see. Look, any awards ceremony where a rivalry of the year and an option is the Bellas, Team Bad, and PCB are an option. It's a joke.
Honestly, I wish Bayley versus Sasha would have been on that list.
Well, they don't want that.
I know.
Because they don't want that to win. It may not win, don't get me wrong, but they don't want it to win. So they wouldn't put it on there.
Why didn't they have Sasha versus Bayley as one of the best matches? Match of the year.
That's not what they want. They don't want that. They don't want that to be considered. They rig these anyways. Let's just be honest. They pick who they want to pick in these fucking things.
Yeah, I know. Do you think the voting actually matters?
Roman Reigns, no. Roman Reigns is going to get Superstar of the Year. You can just take that to the bank.
Even though Seth Rollins should.
It's going to be Roman Reigns. It doesn't matter what you vote. You can pull out your little fucking WWE app, and you can make your little vote for whoever you want, and then you can watch Roman Reigns get the trophy and smile at everybody and wink.
No, I think that character's gone. Let me say that again. I hope that character's gone.
Yeah, if Dewey Foley keeps writing for the company, he's come up with these testicle jokes, apparently.
Yeah, I know. Those grapefruits turning into shriveled up old prunes.
That was terrible. Man, that is so bad. That's just so bad. and then it was like, okay, then I look at his Twitter, and Dewey Foley's made a testicle joke at Noelle Foley, his sister, about her birthday.
That or how many balls she... Never mind.
Yeah. Well, how many can Frank the Clown juggle?
Maybe.
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, good idea. Man, like, is she trying to be a sex model or something? Because her Instagram has gotten pretty...
It's very racy.
Yeah. What is that?
I don't know. She's given not a great impression.
Well, I mean, maybe that's why she didn't get the reporting job at WWE. You ever think of that?
I don't know. I think she'll get it eventually. I do.
Because there's
although, yeah, now that Frank the Tank has pissed off WWE with his letter.
Her most recent post came yesterday, and it was her birthday, and it was just her in Calvin Klein underwear, and it said, "I'm feeling 22 in my #MyCalvins. Thanks to Frank WWE Clown. Happy birthday to me. I couldn't get my pants on. Who needs pants when it's your birthday? No pants party."
Yeah, that comes off as very sort of I don't know how to put this without being...
Say it! Fucking say it! Fucking say it! Say it!
She comes off a little loose.
Oh, but no.
A little, yeah, just a little.
Mrs. Foley's baby boy's baby girl?
Well, she's either an attention whore, which is possible. Her dad is Mick Foley. Her brother is now going to be getting coffee for the writers and making testicle jokes. And her boyfriend, Frank the Clown, is smiling at wrestlers and hugging them and telling them they look good. And so she probably likes attention. They all like attention. So maybe that's what it's about. I don't know. I just can tell you the perception is reality oftentimes. And
yeah.
And she has a consistent pattern of social media posts that would lead you to believe one thing if you don't know her.
She does seem very nice. I'll give her credit where it's partially due. I don't want to judge anyone.
She does. I can't argue that at all.
Yeah, well, that's how things work. And so let's end this a very juicy podcast. And Finn Balor saying moving up to the main roster would be a step down, or a setback rather, for his career in WWE. Do you agree?
Why don't you go first on this one? I really want to hear your...
My brain is saying that they will make... He'll be the first one since CM Punk to beat Cena in merch sales. And Vince will turn him into wear your face paint every week and have kids get their faces painted like Finn Balor. I can just imagine that promotion right now. I can even see a poster. And Balor will be turned into a megastar he will be turned into what should have been a megastar into a kid's magnet. And that will be his career because he's at least 33. My heart is telling me to stay in NXT until it's a full-time touring brand and pass the torch, which might not be for another year. So what do you think?
So you think then...
I have two different aspects of looking at it. Like I said, my brain is telling me he's going to go up there, be a kid's magnet, sell T-shirts and face paint, and that's it, and be a champion, and he'll be a star no matter what. He's going to succeed. But my brain is telling me stay in NXT and continue to make it special, because It's easy for me to say. I think he's better than anyone else on that roster, aside from maybe Cesaro, Rollins, and Ambrose. They're all on the same level right now. But that doesn't matter all the time. Reigns is the champion. If it was based on wrestling ability, Cena would have never won the belt to begin with. So everyone knows it isn't just like that. It's more than that. I know you're not the biggest fan of Finn. I know that.
I don't know why you think that.
Well, I mean, okay, I shouldn't have said that. I love his NXT Takeover attire, his entrance. It's so different and enigmatic, and it's spontaneous and it's unpredictable, and I think it's fantastic. But that's why he only does it like 4 times a year. I feel that Vince would make him do that every night on Raw, and I don't like that.
Okay, well, I'm going to give you my opinion, and it's probably going to piss some people off. I know that's a shock.
No.
Personally, I'm growing very tired of hearing this. Picture yourself in your current job.
Yeah.
Your boss is going to promote you to a much higher profile position. Let's call it a promotion, perhaps.
Yeah.
With a life-changing amount of money as a pay increase. Now, picture thinking that is a step back in your profession. In any profession, that is not a step back. Look, would they kill his character? Yes. Would he get stuck somewhere in the mid-card? Yes. It's all a work, brothers. The direct deposit is still coming in for him. He's still on the bigger stage, and he's still getting paid significantly more. Any wrestler who doesn't want to move up to the main roster is a total mark for themselves or is just being dishonest with fans for their own benefit. You decide which one Finn is. If you're a wrestler and would rather stay in NXT making $40,000 a year because you'll be booked better with your character, you're a mark for yourself and you need to get over it. Now, look, if NXT ever increases its pay to a level that is of the main roster and continues to still put on a good show like we see today, then so be it. I understand. That's not the case today, however. At the heart of this, though, is the real discussion that very few people are having, and that's that NXT is not a true developmental territory. They claim it's developmental. It's really not. Very few talents have come up, even at a time when WWE has had multiple key injuries, such as lately.
Yes.
Triple H says that's because he wants them to have a meaningful 6-month plan before they just call them up even when they're ready. Well, guess what? I guess he forgot because that hasn't happened yet. Maybe he could talk to Tyler Breeze. How many of the current NXT roster right now truly deserve to still be in developmental based on their skill set? And that's all I need to know. And that's my opinion.
Bo Dallas, and that's it. and the Ascension. I'll give you 2.
Yeah. So does that make sense? Does it not make sense?
So, we will. I promise we will end with this, everybody. I know it's a long podcast. If you were the booking powers that be, and Finn Balor just gets called up, how would you do it? How would you book him, and where would he end up?
I think Finn Balor would best be part of. I think he was portrayed pretty well in the Bullet Club in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Something in a faction, something where he can have that sort of a look instead of the demon look. That's what I would do. He would come in as a faction.
Is he a main eventer of WrestleMania to you?
No, he's not.
I have to disagree. I think he is. Because, like I said, it's all about the kids. Right? And you know how much kids are going to love him, right? The face paint, the theatrics, the T-shirts. He has good T-shirts. I have 2 of them. They're really cool. He will make kids smile, and he has the likability from the adults because he's so good at what he does. He could easily main event a WrestleMania for me, and he would sell so much money. Oh my God, it would be not Cena level immediately, but after 3 or 4 years, there'd be no doubt about it. He'd be a top draw, no doubt about it. He screams money.
I'm not saying he doesn't scream money, that he couldn't do very well, but easily main event to WrestleMania, I don't think so. I mean, how many times did CM Punk easily main event to WrestleMania?
Well, that's different. He was defiant, and he self-proclaimed. He knows it.
How many times did he do it?
None. But was CM Punk over with the kids? Not as much as people think. Punk wasn't the top draw among that demographic that they're trying to reach. Cena and The Rock were. Or at least one of them was, because not many kids know who The Rock is.
But neither is Finn Balor. Neither is Finn Balor right now.
Can.
It's a bunch of 20-something-year-old marks in a building. 200 marks.
It is kind of impressive. They packed 10,000 or more people. They sold out a place in London, and I think it was under an hour. And they sold out Barclays Center in under an hour. That's not bad. And Finn was the main event. I lie. Finn was...
Okay. Oh, yeah, he was, but it was also right next to the SummerSlam show, which is why people were there. That never would have happened if they didn't have SummerSlam.
Okay, they didn't have a SummerSlam in London, and look what happened today.
Okay, but London never gets WWE shows, and now they're doing their tour over there, and so they're selling out on all the shows, no matter who the main event is. The house shows are selling out because they're never in London. They're never in the UK very often. It's just like when you're not doing something often, it becomes special by nature. Whether that's Brock Lesnar appearing 3 times a year on TV, or whether it's going to London 3 times a year. And so that's exactly what you have, and that's why you see the London crowd get so excited, and you see the US crowd, it's like this, sitting on their thumbs with their assholes, their thumbs up their ass. And it's like, okay, because they get the WWE TV all the time. They get it all the time. It always comes around. They're used to it. It's just another thing. It's nothing special. But when you go over to the UK, it is special because it's rare. And so, that's why they're selling out. But don't fool yourself and think they would have sold out 14,000, 15,000 people legit in Barclays just for NXT if SummerSlam wasn't coming. I mean, it's the same. It was mostly the same crowd.
I don't know, man. I think they would have. Maybe I'm an optimist, but NXT is getting really, really popular. Really popular. And it's only getting bigger. But anyway,
it's a financial loss, according to WWE. They lose money doing it, so it can't be that big.
We'll have to see when the numbers come out in the third quarter, and see what it really does say. But as for us here, thank you all for listening. We greatly appreciate it. You can follow Brad at the Brad Shepard on Twitter. You can follow me, John Fisher IQ, on the Twitter machine. You talk to us, comment on the podcast, tell us if we're right, wrong, or in between. Don't be afraid. I don't attack anybody. I just tell you if you're wrong or not. And I'm sorry, but I do it in a respectful way. Any final thoughts, Brad?
Yeah, I was just gonna, ask you how the hand job went after the Bieber concert.
Which Bieber concert?
The one you were backstage for, the after party.
Well, we're talking, multiple parties. You're talking Chicago, Philly, Tampa, Jacksonville, Austin, Houston, San Antonio, Los Angeles, Pittsburgh, Philly, Harrisburg, Hershey, all the way down to Punta Cana. Which one?
Well, it doesn't matter. It was you were giving a hand job to Bieber in every city. It didn't matter where you were at.
Talk about a world tour. Have a good night, everyone.
Oh, wait a minute. Did you think I actually meant that some nice, fine woman from Tinder was hitting you up and you were getting a hand? No. I was talking about you are Bieber's fluffer before the after party. That's what I was talking about.
Well, I'd be higher on the card than Daniel Bryan. Good night, everyone.